and get started. First of all, before we do an introduction of the coaches, I wanted to take just a minute to thank Cheryl Wolk and Marty Barr. They came in this evening to serve the meal to all of us tonight, so how about a nice round of applause for them? And I also wanted to thank our booster officers who volunteer quite a bit of time, and obviously the word volunteer means they get no compensation for that time, but they do a lot of things that people don't see behind the scenes, like the meetings that they go to, the phone calls they make to try and get people to work the concession stands, and the long hours that they work working concession stands and things like that. So they put in a lot of time, and they do it all for the kids. And our booster officers are Tracy Helms, Carrie Staffen, Pam Meyer, and Kelly Solkowski. How about a nice round of applause for them? And I also want to thank all of you out there who work concession stands, whether it's in the fall, the winter, the spring, or all of the above. Obviously, we couldn't run those concession stands without you guys, and the money that we get from those concession sales go to our students, to our student athletes. So thank you for working concessions. We appreciate you guys doing that as well. Introduction of our coaches. I'm going to start to my left over here. We've got our head boys track coach, Chris Warner. To his right, I'm guessing he probably did something outside today, Coach Chris Thompson. We have our girls coaches. First, our assistant girls coach, Tyne Hook. Still trying to get used to not calling her Schwent. To her right is Coach John Boyd, the head girls track coach. Over to my right, we've got our one and only golf coach, and that's Rachel Keim. To her right, head baseball coach, Mike McDaniel. Assistant baseball coach, Mark Gibson. The man in the suspenders is assistant coach Cody Schwent. And to his right is volunteer coach Brock Kreitler. And we thank Brock for volunteering his time, because just like our booster officers, that goes without compensation, and so he's strictly just doing it for the program and for the kids. So we thank him very much for his time. I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking from here on out. I'm going to let the coaches do that. So we're going to start with golf with Coach Keim. She's going to get up and talk about her kiddos. So come on up.
I'm afraid to touch this thing. Okay, good evening. First, I need to start off with some thank yous. First, the district for the opportunity to represent. There's a lot of area schools that don't even have a golf program, girls or boys, so the fact that we have one is great. Mr. Nix, Mrs. Henderson, the athletic department, our schedule is jam-packed with enough tournaments that our boys go into the postseason confident, and that goes with great scheduling, so I thank them for that. They're always there when I need something. We can really pull on our athletic department for anything. The SDH faculty and staff, my student athletes miss a lot of school. It's one of my main recruiting tools is, hey, you miss a lot of school. That being said, that requires a lot of teachers to be very flexible with my student athletes, and they are. And not only that, they correspond with me on what's going on in classrooms with my student athletes. Are they being good students? Is there something we need to address? And so I appreciate the time they take to do that. Rick Meyer and the St. John Golf Course for the use of the course and facilities. There's been kind of a switch in some management out of the golf course, and it's starting to become more youth-friendly. So the development of our golf program is only going to take off with all their support. We also host a home golf tournament, and they always do a superb job of hosting us, so I appreciate that. I had an assistant this year, a volunteer coach who was more behind the scenes, my brother, Brian Keim. He showed up for a couple matches, and he was really behind the scenes helping me with some coaching decisions, so I appreciate him taking the time out this season to help me. Kyle Schweiss, former boys coach, but anytime I need a marker so that I can actually go out and coach my boys during the postseason, he's always volunteers, so I appreciate that. Jason Viox in the Herald. He does a great job of balancing coverage. Golf gets a lot of good press, and I appreciate that. Coming from a town where it didn't get a lot of good press, the fact that golf is so widely covered in our hometown newspaper is great. I also would like to thank KTJJ and J98, the Sun-Times, and Daily Journal for their coverage. The best spring sport parents in the world, my golf parents, Kevin and Lisa Burr, Jeff and Lori Tomier, and Scott and Jamie Drury. I think it goes without saying, golf is not highly attended. It's not like people show up and watch it. It doesn't happen. But on any given day, I can have 1 to all 3 sets of parents or grandparents coming out to watch golf matches, and that's just great. They've been supportive for the past 2 years of not only me and my program and the direction of the program, but most importantly, their boys, and they're able to be successful on the golf course because of that strong family background, so I really appreciate their support. My family, it goes without saying that I coach in the fall and the spring, and that's a lot of time away from my family, and they're always very supportive of that. My fiance, Mike McDaniel, we both coach in the spring. And we both have taken a philosophy that if you're doing it right, you are spending a lot of time coaching, and that's what we do. So there's a lot of times where we don't see each other, and if we are seeing each other, we're working. And I'd appreciate his support, even though he can't be there all the time. The fact that he's there and I can go to him with any coaching issue is really a great thing. And last but not least, my players. You make coaching not a job. You have made it wonderful. I enjoy going to practices, to matches, and tournaments. It's not a job. It's something I get to do with people that are great, and I appreciate that. Okay, so now let's talk about the season. It's my second season coaching high school boys and coaching the same boys, and I've learned a lot more about them this year than I ever hoped I would. But there's a lot of good qualities there. They're very considerate. They sent me flowers on my birthday. That was so sweet. But not only that, they're looking out for my safety. I could go into detail, but I don't have an hour, but they spent an hour telling me how to protect my thoughts in my brain from the government by making a hat out of aluminum foil. I kid you not, an hour. And not only that, my thoughts won't get stolen, but aliens cannot steal them either. So if you need to protect your mind from the government or aliens, talk to one of those 3. Food intake hasn't changed either, only this year we've switched to Taco Bell, so we're away from the chicken nuggets a little bit more. We're very thankful for the Cinnabon bites at Taco Bell. Those are very clutch after tournaments. They still have their interesting taste in rap music and a dislike for Taylor Swift. They have unique personal styles of dress, and I cannot appreciate any more than their senses of humor that sometimes mesh and sometimes clash in all the worst and wonderful ways you can imagine. But I do have the story, and they probably know what I'm holding up. Do you know, Dylan? Golf is a game of integrity. There are no referees, there are no umpires. If there's a penalty, you call it on yourself. And the only other person that can call a penalty on you is a player or a coach. But most of the time, players have to call penalties on themselves. At the MAAA conference this year, there are 2 golf holes. One goes one direction, one goes another. And someone lost a ball in the rough. And another player lost a ball in the rough, both on opposite holes. And it just so happens one of my players, Trevor Drury, lost his golf ball in the rough. And he went to find it. He knew where he landed, couldn't find it. The only golf ball they could find was 100 yards back, and I'm holding it. A player on the opposite hole swore up and down he did not hit this golf ball, but this was the golf ball he was playing. I'm holding it. So there's no way to admit or force that kid's hand to make an honest choice. But Trevor Drury, maybe a little frustrated, understood that his ball was considered lost, he had to take a penalty, and he had to re-tee. He could have played this ball and nobody would have ever known it wasn't his. And we kept it all season as a reminder that this is a game of integrity. And sometimes in life, doing the right thing, nobody's ever gonna know if you'd made a wrong decision, but you will. And we kind of carried that, and our boys marked their golf balls all over the place from then on out. So I can sum up our season with one word, and that word is choices. Every bump in the road, every small victory, every crushing defeat, every small setback, every huge success, it all came from choices. We started out the season with a team score. And we ended the season without a team score because of choices. Each one of these golfers finished a round of golf better than anticipated or worse than anticipated because they made choices. Choices were made at practice to concentrate on drills to get better. Choices were made on weekends and at practices to stay just for one more shot, or one more bucket of balls, or one more hole. Choices were made in our lives outside of school that affected performances on the golf course. They made choices not to let a shot make or break a hole, a career, a round. They made choices to trust themselves when things weren't going their way, trust their abilities, and trust their golf swings. Ultimately, they made a choice to trust me, to trust that I would always do what's best for them in practice, matches, and tournaments, and that I would always see the good in them. They chose to believe me when I said I would not give up on them, and I chose never to give up on them. I made a choice to give 100% of everything I could as a golf coach, and in return, they made a choice to be nothing but great people and outstanding golfers. Like I mentioned earlier, we were unable to complete our season with team scores, but that did not stop our team from representing SGHS in big ways individually. For a team of 3 individuals, we had 3 9-hole match medalists, which means 3 out of 5, we had an individual win those matches. We had 11 top 10 finishes in tournaments, 2 all-conference players, 2 all-district players, 2 sectional qualifiers, 1 state qualifier, 1 Herald Athlete of the Week, 1 KTJJ Athlete of the Week, and 1 Dream Team member. I don't pretend to be good at math, but those are good numbers considering I only have 3 golfers. I've heard several coaches that would say, man, if you had a 4th golfer, you'd be really dominant. It's like, thanks for reminding me, that's great. But even though it was painful, I considered it a testament to the strong golf my boys were playing. And they're humble, those boys are. They'll tell you that their golf games are trash. But clearly coaches and players felt differently, as did I. On top of their stats, I received several compliments from area coaches about the attitudes and enjoyment my players had for the game. Good golfers, and they're a joy to be around. What more could I want? So enough about them collectively. I want to talk about them individually. So guys, when I say your name, coming up here so everybody can stare at you and not me. First, junior Jacob Tomyer. Where are you? I said it last year, I'll say it again. Jacob is my Mr. Consistent. He stays around the same numbers all season. His 9-hole regular season scoring average was 6 over par, and his 18-hole scoring average was 13 over par, which is just great golf. Jacob placed 4th individually at our home golf tournament and medaled in a highly competitive match at Crown Point, which earned him recognition in the Herald as their Athlete of the Week. Jacob was all-conference, placing 6th individually at the conference tournament. Jacob extended his regular season by placing 6th at the district tournament, earning him not only all-district recognition, but a spot at the sectional golf tournament. Jacob continues to grow and improve in his game every year. He works hard and he loves the game. He practically lives on the golf course, and most of the time he is golfing, but if he's not golfing, he's probably fishing or catching random wildlife, which this year I learned could mean anything from a snapping turtle to snakes to, I think, the occasional skunk. So if you need something caught, it's Jacob. Just ask him. But all that aside, Jacob's dedication and hard work are something to be admired. These qualities will continue to propel Jacob's golf career. I'm confident the team is in good hands with Jacob at the helm next year. Next, senior Dylan Burr. Dylan's spring was a busy season. In addition to golf, Dylan was balancing several extracurricular activities, school, work, and academic commitments. I mean, with such a busy schedule, you would have thought that he was like salutatorian or something. Despite his demanding schedule, Dylan always gave 110% to golf when at practice or at tournaments and matches. The high points in Dylan's season included placing 3rd at our opening home match versus St. Pius and Windsor, and medaling at the North County Invitational with over 8 teams represented. Dylan is a reflective golfer. He analyzes each shot and can tell you where he can improve in his game. He was the kind of player that I would suggest a drill or something after practice, and he would actually go out and do it, when there was still light out for the last 30 minutes. He just couldn't get enough. Dylan is clearly passionate about the game, and his enthusiasm on the course is contagious. Outside of his passion, he's just a very skilled golfer. I know the season didn't pan out as either he or I had hoped, but he's nothing to hang his head about. He's a very, very talented golfer, plain and simple. I still believe in my heart of heart that Dylan's best golf it hasn't been played yet. And he can still compete, so it's my sincere hope that he continues to play and compete. And I wish him nothing but continued success both on the course and at Missouri S&T, and honestly throughout your entire life. His presence will be sorely missed this next year. And my last golfer is senior Trevor Drury. Oh no. Oh. I'm not opening that now. I can only imagine what that is. Trevor played the number one position all season this year. Trevor's 9-hole scoring average was 4 over par, and his 18-hole scoring average was 11 over par, which is some very solid golf. Trevor had great finishes all year. He had a top 10 finish in every single regular season 18-hole tournament. That's quite an accomplishment. His best finish was second place at our home tournament. Out of our 5 9-hole matches, Trevor won 2 and was runner-up in 1 match, earning him the KTJJ Athlete of the Week. Trevor placed 5th at the MAAA Conference Tournament, earning him an all-conference recognition. At the District Golf Tournament, he tied for 9th, which earned him a spot on the all-district team and a place at the sectional tournament. And at sectionals, he tied for 9th again and earned a spot at the Class 3 State Golf Tournament. I know the state golf tournament rounds didn't turn out as he had hoped, but he played some incredible golf on a very tough golf course in some very tough situations. Trevor has a tremendous ability and a deep understanding of the finer points of the golf game. This, combined with his work ethic, integrity, and mental resiliency, have led to many successes this season and will definitely lead to continued successes, not only in golf but in his life. I wish him all the best as he continues his education and golf career at Mississippi State University as part of their professional golf management program. Like Dylan, this team, I think especially Jacob, will miss his presence next year. So that's my team, but I want you to stay up here because I have awards. Okay. First is the Spirit of the Game Award. Ben Hogan, who's a great golfer, once said, "Your name is the most important thing you own. Don't ever do anything to disgrace or cheapen it." This award goes to an individual who embodies this quote in the spirit of the game of golf. This person has great integrity, great work ethic, great manners and etiquette, as well as a deep love and passion for the game of golf. This golfer is also a great representative of SGHS and a great student athlete. He works just as hard in the classroom as he does on the course. This salutatorian never fails to show great integrity, kindness, compassion, and a smile. He's the kind of athlete every coach dreams of coaching, and he's the kind of athlete that is essential to building a team. I'm not sure this player understands the impact he's had on the program, his teammates, or me as a coach. His analysis of his own golf game has made me look at golf differently. It's a skill I hope all my future players possess, and I hope as a coach I can teach. This type of analysis can only come from someone who loves the game as much as this player. The 2017 recipient of the Spirit of the Game Award is Dylan Burr. The next award for the evening is the Most Improved Player Award. Honestly, this player has improved in every single aspect of his game. Mentally, he showed tremendous growth from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. He was able to stay on top of an errant shot and make moves in tough situations on the course. From the golf standpoint, he would spend countless hours on the putting green, which is something I couldn't have begged him to do last season. I watched him putt for a purpose for over an hour, showing an amazing amount of concentration and dedication to improvement on a weaker aspect of your golf game. And you know, when you're bad at something, nobody wants to sit there for an hour and do it, and that's what he did. It's probably this dedication and focus that allowed him to shave 4 strokes off his 18-hole scoring average this year. I'm so proud of the gains this golfer has made this year, and I'm confident he will continue to make strides in the offseason to have his best season yet. I look forward to having him lead the team as a senior, and I know he's destined for a great senior season. The 2017 recipient of the Most Improved Player Award is Jacob Tomier. And the last award from me this evening is the Most Valuable Player Award. This player is in all-conference and all-district selection for 2 years in a row. He placed 5th at the MAAA Conference Tournament, placed 9th at the District Golf Tournament, placed 9th at the Sectional Golf Tournament, and qualified to play at the State Tournament. He's a 2-time KTJJ Dream Team selection, both this year and last. This player has earned the respect of area coaches for his hard work, dedication, and integrity, and he's earned the respect of this coach for his integrity, deep knowledge, and interest of golf, his genuine spirit, and his tireless work ethic. I have to tell this story. The day before we left for the state golf tournament, the golf course was closed. There was a scramble going on, and I was playing in the tournament, and Trevor and I had worked all week on a 60-yard shot, and we talked about calibrating. The idea was that in order to make that shot, he was not going to be able to swing a golf club at full swing. He was going to have to take a half swing or something, but the only way to commit to that shot was to hit that shot over and over and over again. So I started the tournament, and Trevor went out to the small practice screen in the back of the golf course. And when I passed him 4 hours into my round, he was still out there hitting 60-yard shots. I'm like, gosh, it's been 4 hours. He came in 30 minutes after we did. He spent 6.5 hours hitting a 60-yard golf shot. That's what it takes. So the 2017 Most Valuable Player Award goes to Trevor Drury. Congrats, boys, on another amazing season. Dylan and Trevor, I will miss you dearly. You know that. But I look forward to hearing about all the great things you're destined for. And Jacob, we've got big shoes to fill and lots of things to accomplish. Thank you.
You know, I always tell people that athletes are some of our most successful students, and people always kind of look at me like, well, you're supposed to say that. But I always say, well, look at our top 10% of each class and how many of them are athletes, and it's always well over 50%. And here tonight is another great example. We have two athletes who were this year's valedictorian and salutatorian, and so that's just another example that our athletes succeed. And I'm a little embarrassed to say I don't know how to spell either valedictorian or salutatorian, but congratulations to the two guys who do know how to spell those words. Girls track is next, and I think doing all the talking for girls track is Coach Boyd. So, Dr. Boyd, you're up.
All right, good evening. I would like to begin this evening by thanking some very important individuals that impact our program in many different ways. First of all, I would like to thank the athletes. They've bought into our program, have displayed a very strong work ethic throughout the season, are fantastic people to work with, and truly make practice very enjoyable to participate in every day. As a coaching staff, we are blessed to work with some amazing young people. Their work ethic is impeccable, and they have vastly improved since the beginning of the first day of track. I would also like to extend a special thank you to all of our parents. We could not function without all of your support and efforts throughout the entire season. I know that you have to sacrifice time, energy, and sleep to support your track athletes. I greatly appreciate all you have done and all you do for providing for our students in regards to riding arrangements and just the support that you have for our student athletes when you come out to our meets and you support our kids. I would like to thank Mr. Nix and our entire administration for all the support that you provide our program. It is awesome to see you guys making an effort to attend our meets and support our athletes. Next, I would like to thank our awesome coaching staff. The work ethic and great character that all of you guys bring to the table greatly influences the young athletes that we work with. Coach Warner, our boys head coach, does an awesome job with our sprinters, hurdlers, and high jumpers. He truly makes my job as a coach very easy. I believe that we work very well together, and without his help, efforts, and coaching expertise throughout the entire season, our track team definitely would not have been as successful as what it was. Coach Thompson, our throws coach, does an awesome job of motivating many kids to come out for track. He has a great thing going right now with his throwers, and he is continuously working to build and improve upon his program. Coach Hook, my assistant coach, and our jumping coach, has truly been a great addition to our coaching staff. She truly makes my job very easy and enjoyable. She is extremely knowledgeable about track and field and does a great job of building positive relationships with young people. She has become a very influential individual within our athletes' young lives, and we're very excited to have her on staff. Coach Keeker and Coach Bollinger, our middle school coaches, do a great job of preparing our youngsters for track and field in the high school. They help to teach them the basics and truly integrate them into the program. I'm extremely grateful to all of the coaches that I have an opportunity to work with. I know that they always have the interests or the best interests of kids at heart, and it's extremely rewarding to work with such a great group of individuals. I would also like to thank Jason Viox from the Herald for the sports coverage throughout the entire season, Mid-America Rehab for helping our injured athletes throughout the season, Gary Stolzer for helping the program procure some new elliptical machines that are very helpful anytime we have any injured athletes. A big list of individuals that help at our home track meets, including Kenny White, Nikki Reed, my father, John Boyd Sr., Jenna Boyd, Nicole Upchurch, Candace Burr, Al Engelman, Kenny Rapp, Aaron Stoll, and all those individuals that pitch in to help out at our home track meets. We run one of the greatest meets around, and that's because of the great help that we can get from those individuals. I'm sure that I'm leaving some individuals out, but I'm very grateful to everyone that has helped our program throughout the entire season. Now for a little recap of our season before we moved into the athletes. Our team was comprised mostly of underclassmen this year. Matter of fact, the majority of the athletes that we have are freshmen. We only had one senior on an entire squad, so hopefully we'll have everyone back other than her for next year's team. Needless to say, they have big shoes to fill from past squads, but I believe that we are on the right track to seeing some team success in the very near future. We were very competitive at nearly every meet that we competed at this year. I must say that the team highlight for us came at the MAAA conference meet. We were able to walk away with a second place finish after losing several key seniors from last year's championship team. Our JV runners were even able to come away with some hardware this year at the Black Knight JV Invitational at Farmington High School. All in all, I believe that the future looks very bright for our girls track team, and I want to thank the girls for their hard work and dedication to the team throughout the entire year. I would now like to take the opportunity to recognize each of our athletes. So as I call your name, please come see Coach Hook, and she's going to stand down there to receive your letters and your certificates. Freshman Shelby Gibson. Freshman Reagan Meyer. Freshman Emma Springcamper. Freshman Sam Martin, I'm sorry. Freshman Morgan Severe. Freshman Josie Geisner. All right, there we go. Thank you, Josie. It was starting to get pretty bleak. Josie was truly a pleasure to work with this spring. She always showed up to practice with a smile on her face, and anytime we asked her to do a workout, she would work as hard as she possibly could to be the best that she possibly could be. She was always extremely eager to compete. She didn't care if it were a varsity or junior varsity meet. She wanted to be out there and she wanted to be competing. I really appreciate that eagerness and genuine excitement. The best example that I have to showcase this eagerness competing came at the week of districts. I did not initially have Josie penciled into the lineup, but she came up and she spoke to me right away and said, "Coach, is there any way that I could race in the opening that we have in the 200 on Saturday?" We put her in the race, and what does she do? She runs 3 seconds faster than what she ran at the beginning of the season. It was a true joy to have Josie on our team this year and watch her improve the entire season. I hope that Josie comes back next year and is eager to continue to improve. Freshman Brooklyn Gendron. Brooklyn primarily worked with Coach Thompson as one of our throwers and definitely has some really good potential. She struggled at the beginning of the season with an arm injury, but once we got past this, she was one of the most consistent throwers in both the shot and the discus. As I learned this season, Brooklyn has quite the humorous personality. She is the first individual that has ever asked me about having a ferret as a team mascot. She was trying to scheme up a plan of how this was actually going to work. And just so you know and I remember, I'm pretty sure that you still owe me a donut as well. Did you bring that with you tonight? Okay. Freshman Katie Beck. Freshman Jillian Humboldt. Jillian ran for me in cross country, and I believe that we have made some huge strides this year during track season. Many of the kids that run cross country for me really don't care for track quite as much as they do cross country. However, as I tell them all, it's a necessary evil. Track season helps them build upon some essential components that many of them lack: speed and strength. I know that Jillian fits into this mold. However, I can definitely say that we made some very positive strides during this track season. I know that she is going to carry these track experiences into her cross-country season and is going to become a better runner because of it. Jillian, I really appreciate the flexibility that you had this track season. You were always willing to step in anytime the team needed you, and I really appreciate your efforts. Freshman Ella Reed. Ella worked with our distance crew and was a high jumper for us this track season. It was fun to watch Ella improve over the course of the entire season. She was a big contributor for us all year at both the varsity and junior varsity level. Ella had her best performance of the year at the district meet, which is really when you want to have your best performance. She ran the 800 and set a new personal record that was about 12 seconds faster than what she had run at the beginning of the season. And then she also high jumped for us, and she had an awesome day in the high jump at districts as well. She began to jump. She was able to clear heights all the way up to 410. She ended up scratching out at 410. However, she had one attempt at the height that just barely missed. And for those of you that aren't aware of what high jump is, 410 is a pretty good jump for a high school girl, especially a freshman. And it actually took 410 to get through the district meet this year to sectionals. So Ella's very close to being a high jumper that could be qualifying to sectionals and maybe even to the state meet in the future. Ella, the one area that you need to improve on in the future is your strength. I am confident that with your work ethic and determination, we can do just that. Freshman, Hannah Duro. Well, let's see. Hannah's had quite the track journey this year. She began the season by working with the distance crew, but after some injuries with her toe, or some issues with her toe, we decided that it would be better for her to work out with our sprinters. There wasn't quite as much pounding on her feet, and we thought that that would be a better fit. It ended up being a great move for her because she became one of our best 400 runners as the season progressed. She was actually on our 4x4 relay team that qualified out of districts for the first time in several years. Hannah ran the lead leg for that relay team, which can be a little overwhelming for a freshman, but she truly did a great job for us. Unfortunately, her season came to a screeching halt with an injury to her hamstring. Hannah has a very bright future for our track program, and we are very excited to see what the next few years have in store for her. Oh, by the way, Hannah also threw the javelin for us this year, and since this was the first year for the javelin, and she had the longest throw this year, she is also the school record holder in that event. Freshman, Julia McClin. As the season began for us, I knew that Julia was going to be extremely versatile for us. She was going to be able to run many different things. I could put her in relays, sprinting events, the high jump, the 400, or even in the hurdle events. Unfortunately, in the middle of the season, we hit a little bit of a snag in this great plan for Julia when she suffered a pretty bad sprained ankle playing volleyball. It took us nearly a month to get Julia back to running. However, when she came back, we could see determination in her eyes that she wanted to make up for lost time. She ended up high jumping and running the 300 hurdles extremely well. However, her biggest contribution was going to be coming in an event that she didn't run too much this season. When Hannah suffered her hamstring injury, we were in need of another 400 runner to step in at sectionals. Julia was called upon and did an awesome job of filling in for us. I know that Julia is going to be coming back next year hungry for more success. It is going to be important for us to get a little more off-season conditioning next year, and the skies are the limits for Julia. Sophomore, Abby Braun. You been hanging out with Coach Thompson today? Going all the way down there, okay. Abby spent her season working with Coach Thompson and our throwers. She saw some success in the shot as she was able to improve her throws by 2 feet from the beginning of the season to the end. Abby was part of the infamous Throwers 4x8 relay team that ran at the St. Genevieve JV Invitational. However, unlike some of the other girls that ran on the relay, Abby wasn't really that excited about this. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, a 4x8 means that each individual runs 2 laps around the track. We were kind of scrambling and trying to put a team together. It was just a couple of teams that were going to be there, and we had one of our team members that stepped right up, and I'll share that story here in a few minutes. But Abby was kind of the odd girl out because she didn't really want to do it, but neither did Brooklyn. So, long story short, the two of them competed in a rock, paper, scissors match to decide who was going to win. Now, it got pretty competitive, and Abby ended up losing. So Abby got to run the 4x8 at the St. Genevieve JV Invitational. It was fun to watch. I know that Abby probably won't be volunteering to run 2 laps anytime soon, but I do want you girls to know that we're on that relay, that was definitely one of the highlights for me this season, to watch you guys step up and go out there and do the best you can. And they were coming over and asking me about their splits and how fast they were running. I mean, they were into it, and it was a lot of fun. It was exciting. Sophomore, Riley Hook. Sophomore, Jaden Bowman. Jaden was the ringleader behind the girls getting in on this as well. Sophomore Olivia Grine. Sophomore Emily Grass. I know she's here. Emily was another one of our throwers. She primarily focused her season on throwing the shot. Emily quickly became our best shot thrower in the first season of her high school track career. She made some huge strides this year as a thrower. She began the year by throwing the shot 23 feet and finished the season with a best of 30 feet. That's a 7-foot improvement, which is an awesome thing for the shot put to improve by 7 feet over the course of a year. Emily came to practice every day with that smile on her face that she's got right now. And at the end of the season, we enjoyed giving each other a hard time. One of my fondest memories of Emily came the morning of the district track meet. I'm pretty sure she knows where I'm going with this. We're waiting for the bus, and we had been joking around the day before about how throwers always come to meets, and they have this big old backpack, and all that they have in their big old backpack is food. So we get to districts, and it's the morning of, and I go over and I'm giving her a hard time, and I ask her what kind of food she has in her bag. Lo and behold, she had donuts. Donuts in her bag. She threw the rest of her teammates under the bus, the rest of her throwing teammates, because they all had donuts as well. Isabella had like 3 or 4 of them. It was very entertaining, but that's one of my fondest memories of Emily from the season, and now we kind of give each other a hard time about the donuts, and that's where the Brooklyn comment came in with the donuts as well. They all owe me a donut. Sophomore Jennifer Humboldt. Jennifer was primarily a hurdle specialist for us this year. She ran both the 100 and the 300-meter hurdles. However, earlier this year, Jennifer did step up for us and run the 1600 at one of our JV meets because we had a hole in our lineup that needed to be filled. I really appreciate Jennifer's willingness to step up and help out her team this year. I challenge her to work more on her speed and spend some more time hurdling next year in order to continue to improve. Sophomore Maddie Huffstetter. Maddie was our relay specialist this year. She spent most of her time on our sprint relays. However, she actually ran on every single relay that our team has. She ran on the 4x1, the 4x2, the 4x4, and the 4x8 this year. She was open to the idea of running on the 4x8. I came up to her and I asked her before conference, I said, hey, Maddie, we've got a hole here. We need somebody to step up and run the 4x8. And she said, sure, coach, let's do it. That really impressed me. She literally ran on all of our relays and missed qualifying for the finals in the 100 at the district meet by 1 place. She finished 9th. She truly is a joy to have on the team, and I really appreciate the positive attitude that she always brings to the table. Sophomore Kaylee Smelsley. Sophomore Isabella Zerwig. Just for the record, Isabella had the good donuts. How do I characterize Isabella? She's quiet, hardworking, kind, humble, conscientious, and the list could go on and on. One thing that needs to be added to that list is she's a good discus thrower. I know that Coach Thompson told me last year that she showed some promise as a thrower, and I was able to watch her progress throughout the entire season and make some positive strides. However, she was still missing that one moment that was going to define her track season as a major success. That defining moment in my eyes was her being able to break 100 feet in the discus. She was finally able to achieve this feat at the district meet. The throw qualified her for finals and helped her to place 6th at the district meet. I'm very proud of Isabella's accomplishments this season, and I'm excited to see what the next 2 track seasons will have in store for her. Sophomore Sarah Moore. I'm extremely lucky to have the opportunity to work with Sarah over the course of 2 seasons during the school year. She's an awesome student and a great runner for our program. Listen to these stats. She has had 4 opportunities to attend and compete at the state meet in 2 different sports. She has been there 4 different times. This year, Sarah was able to travel to the state meet and compete in the 3200. It was her first experience that she had running as an individual at the state meet. I know that she was able to gain some valuable experience that she will be able to reflect upon over the course of the next 2 years. I'm super proud of Sarah for everything that she has been able to accomplish, and I'm very excited to watch her lead both our cross country and track teams into the future. Junior Drew Lalmandier. At the beginning of the season, Drew wasn't so sure if she was excited about another season of track. She had been on our 4x2 relay team that qualified for sectionals last year, so we had some hopes that we could do the same in that event this year. As the season began, we ran the 4x2 a couple of times, but things just weren't panning out. Drew stepped up for us at a meet and ran a great 400 leg in our 4x4, and I knew at that point that was going to be the relay that we were going to focus on this year. The middle of the season saw Drew battling some minor shin discomfort, but she was tough and made it through that rough section of the season. As the season started to come to a close, we had run a really quick time in the 4x4 relay and thought that we might stand a chance of getting through in that event. Drew ran the second leg of our relay and oftentimes would be digging us out of a little bit of a hole. She told me that she liked to race from behind. Sure enough, at districts, we were behind when Drew got the stick, but she had the race of her season and got us back in the hunt. The relay team was able to advance out of districts and onto the sectional meet. We knew that our chances were not going to be particularly good to get through, and that everyone was going to have the race of their lives. Drew did just that. She split a 62-second 400 on her leg and did everything in her power to help us get through to the state meet. We wound up just a little short of our goal. However, I am extremely proud of the hard work and dedication that Drew put into the season. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that Drew would run a 62-second 400, I'm not real sure that I would have believed you. As you reflect back on the season, Drew, I hope that it was a good decision to run track, and I'm really looking forward to what your senior season will have in store for you. Junior Avery Reed. Sometimes it's kind of tough for me to believe that Avery is only a junior. Don't get me wrong, I'm extremely excited to have her back for another season next year, but after traveling to the state meet last year to compete in the high jump and then repeat that again this year, she seems like a seasoned veteran that should be running short on the number of seasons she has left. Avery had another magical run this year as she made it through both the district and sectional track meets, giving her another opportunity to compete in Jefferson City. While in Jefferson City, one of her teammates and Avery decided that they were going to take an ice bath. For those of you that don't know what an ice bath is, let me give you a little bit of an insight. An ice bath consists of filling up a tub of cold water with ice to make the water even colder. Then you sit in the cold water to help remove any toxins or inflammation from your legs. Usually it makes your legs feel better the next day. The only problem is the hotel that we were staying at did not have a bathtub. It only had a shower. So Avery and her teammate decided to put a towel down and then put ice on top of the towel and then sit on top of that ice that was on a towel. Needless to say, Avery was the smart one in this instance. She decided to place her towel on the floor. Now Avery's teammate, that I promised I would not mention any names, decided to do the exact same thing. However, her towel ended up on top of the bed for her ice bath. Well, I'm sure as all of you guys can guess that it didn't take long for the ice to turn to liquid and then the bed to get very wet. Sarah came into our room, and when I walked in, the teammate that I will not mention, when I walked into their room, she was trying to dry the bed off with a hairdryer. I hear that she was in there for about an hour drying the bed off with a hairdryer so she could sleep that night. I guess I need to add that to my list of things not to do at the state meet. Avery, it's been another fun and memorable season. I'm excited to say that you will be back for one final season. Senior Madison Reynolds. And for those of you that didn't figure this out, Madison was the individual that made the great ice bath on her bed. Madison, I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to embarrass you, and, you know, it's my last shot. Madison's a very intelligent young lady. However, she just misjudged the fact that the towel wasn't quite as thick as it appeared. Madison's going to be the athlete that our team will truly miss next year. As far as pure athleticism goes, it doesn't get any better than Madison Reynolds. We could always rely on her to go into a meet and score our team big points. Madison was a great leader for our squad. Whether it was some of the grueling hurdle workouts that she was doing or the work that she put into the weight room this year, that leadership will surely be missed next year. I know that many of our youngsters saw the work ethic that you displayed on a daily basis this year and were truly motivated by you to be a harder worker. Finally, Madison, the person, is going to be greatly missed. She does such a great job of being an awesome person and an even better teammate. She was willing to step up and do whatever was necessary to help out her team. I'm very proud of the person that Madison has become. Even though it saddens me, and Madison definitely knows this, that she will not be continuing her track career, I wish Madison the best of luck as she will be playing basketball and continuing her studies next year at Mac. There's no doubt in my mind that with everything that she has learned, she will be a highly successful young lady and will be successful in whatever endeavor she seeks out. And that's it as far as our athletes go. I do have some awards that we would like to hand out. The first award that we have tonight goes to an individual who is not here, and that is our Hustle Award, and that goes to Katie Beck. Our Outstanding Relay Runner. This individual ran on every single one of our relays. Who else could it go to but Maddie Huffstetter? Or as Coach Warner likes to say, Snake. Outstanding Distance Runner goes to the one distance runner that we had that made it to the state meets this year, Sarah Moore. Our Outstanding Sprinter Hurdler goes to an individual who was our lone all-state medalist at the state meet this year and also was our lone KTJJ Dream Teamer, Madison Reynolds. Our Most Improved Award goes to an individual who, if she did run the 400 last year, it wasn't very pretty, and by the end of this season runs a 62. That goes to Drew Lalamandir. The Outstanding Field Event Athlete goes to our most consistent high jumper that we have, Avery Reed. And our final award, the Outstanding Track Athlete, goes to none other than Madison Reynolds. Thank you, guys. Oh, managers. My bad. We did have 3 managers. Jordan's giving me the evil eye. We did have 3 managers that worked with us this year. They did an awesome job. They actually made my life very easy, and so I would like to spend just a moment recognizing them as well. I think only 2 of the 3 are here. Olivia Madura. Yeah, come on up. And Jordan, Coach Catlett. Both of these girls did an awesome job for us. Michaela's not here, is she? No. Okay, both of these girls did an awesome job for us. Jordan gets the nickname Coach Catlett because literally she would step up and do whatever we absolutely needed. She was an awesome addition, and both of these girls helped us out tremendously. So I thank you guys for everything that you do for our program. Now we good?
Okay, I'm going to kind of do my thank yous throughout the course of the night instead of doing them all at the same time. Want to take just a second to thank Mr. Haney and Dr. Mercer for helping me with not only supervision but just with guidance and advice throughout the course of all the sports seasons. They're 2 tremendous guys to learn from and to work with, and I couldn't ask for 2 better administrators at the high school level. With that being said, we're going to move on to the boys track program, and I believe Coach Warner is going to do all the speaking for the boys track program. So you're up, Coach.
I'm going to get all these guys up here real quick, so hold your applause till I get the line, and then we'll kind of do some recognizing once they all get up here. Start with our freshmen, Jacob Boyer, Chuck Finley, Coy Fleeg. Yeah, if you guys can kind of go over to Coach Thompson, get your awards, and then line up. Cole Ford, Colby Hatfield, Jared Kinnick, Zach Litton, Jacob Smith, Bryce Trollinger, and Evan Walker. All right, we'll start with the sophomores then. Stephen Abashan, Isaac Boyd, Dustin Boyer, Ty Brown, Clayton Hook. Thanks for losing the cap. It looked good though. Brandon Eisman, Jesse Pinkley, Camden Sadler, Caleb Staffen. We'll start back with the juniors then. Xavier Boyd, Gabe Grimminger, Kegan Smelsley. Well, by the way, I have to make an apology personally to Kegan. We forgot him. He was a sectional qualifier. He's let me know about it. We forgot him on the program. Max Upchurch. And then our seniors, Thomas Engelman, Brevin Gardner, Ben Nagger. I know Ben's not here. He's at a freshman orientation up at SLU this evening. Nathaniel Ogden, Skylar Ogden, and Logan Reinhardt. Start with just some team accomplishments while the guys are up here with us. We started out with a really nice start this year at home in the Old Settlement. We were first place boys team there. Our JV then went to North County. We won that one, so we were kind of on a roll. We come back to a tougher St. John Invitational. We were third. Big meet out of Farmington called the Simpsons. We were fourth. Went to the Farmington JV. We were first as a team. We were excited. We thought, we all thought, we had a really good shot at conference title this year. And doggone it, Farmington does what they're really good at. They score a lot of kids and a lot of events, and they outscored us, so we finished second in the conference. We went to the district, a really tough district up at Hillsboro. There's 13 teams in our Class 4 district. We were 4th out of 13th. Had a really solid performance. Got a nice bunch of qualifiers to go to the sectionals. We were 7th in the sectionals out of 26 teams, and then we went to the state meet and we finished 31st on the year. Just the guys that are up here, just gonna do some quick stuff here with them. If I say something here, guys, and it applies to you, I want you to step towards the crowd. If you're a thrower, that's our crew of throwers that works with Coach Thompson. Okay, step back. Nice. That was nice. We haven't practiced this at all. If you're a sprinter, step forward. Just to give you guys a look at who on our team kind of does what. All right, you're done. Sprinters are fast. These distance guys are going to get a little longer than you. Distance guys. That's long enough. And then if you're a jumper or a vaulter, step up. So that just gives you a little look at our team, kind of who does what, you know, it kind of fits their personality, maybe their body type, what kind of style of track athlete they are. You guys can step back. Just give you a little idea of kind of where these guys fit at on the team then. So if you were part of our team that competed in a district meet, step forward. If you competed. So you can see that we're using across the board, every one of our upperclassmen, but then a real mix of some freshmen also got some of that quality experience towards the end of the year, and it's going to pay dividends in the future. All right, step back. So now kind of give you an idea of our exceptional performers on the year. So if you were an MAA conference athlete, either a conference champion or you were all conference by what we call a standard, they're really elite conference standards, step forward. So we had Ben Nagger, Logan Reinhardt, Gabe Grimminger, Skylar, Nathaniel Ogden, Jesse Pinkley, Kegan Smelsley, Camden Sadler, and Brandon Eisman. We had a whole chunk of all-conference kids. All right, step back. If you were a sectional qualifier, step forward. So you made it through our tough district, qualified for the sectional meet. Step back. If you made it through the sectional meet to the state meet, step forward. So if you competed at the state meet, so you can see our group is really getting smaller. So we've only got a few of those guys left. We had 4 go to the state meet, and Ben Nagger, Skylar Ogden, Gabe Grimminger, and Jesse Pinkley. All right, step back. If you were a state medalist, step forward. So we had 2 this year. We had Gabe Grimminger was 6th in the 800 meters, and Ben Nagger was 5th in the 3,200 meters. If you broke a school record or set a school record, step forward. This is pretty cool. We had 4 of those this year. Yeah, give them a hand. Specific records that were broke, we'll start in pole vault. Jesse Pinkley cleared 14 feet in the sectional meet to earn his trip to the state meet, topping Kevin LeClaire's record of 13.9 1/4. So our new pole vault record is 14 feet even. Logan Reinhardt, we know javelin's new, and that's kind of a funny little pun, but he's actually got a pretty big time throw. Was 5th place in the sectional, very close to qualifying for the state meet. If he'd had this throw, he'd have made it to the state meet very easily. So Logan threw 147.11. So that's in javelin. I know Ben Nagger's not here, and Ben set this record, I guess, 4 or 5 times. He keeps lowering it, but Ben lowered his own 3,200 meter record in the state meet this weekend, and this is incredible. He lowered it by 10 seconds. So the 3,200 meter record is now 9:12.66. So wish Ben was here to be recognized for that. It was a tremendous feat. And our last school record, that goes to Gabe Grimminger. Gabe broke the 800 meter record this year in the state meet with a tremendous race. Wes Armbruster held the record. He ran a 156.70 in the state meet, so give him a hand. So now for our award winners. Outstanding field event athlete, Jesse Pinkley. Outstanding track athlete, Ben Nagger. Outstanding relay runner, Gabe Grimminger. Outstanding distance runner, Ben Nagger. Outstanding sprinter / hurdler, Logan Reinhardt. Most improved, Jesse Pinkley. Jesse cleared 9.6 last year. He cleared 14 this year. It's tremendous. Hustle Award, we got a tie again this year. And the same dudes who got it last year, tied this year. Nathaniel and Skylar Ogden. So I got a list of thank yous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, Coach Boyd went in depth a little bit. I do just want to mention some names. When you host a track meet at your home track, there's a lot of I's to dot, and you need a lot of good people to help you out. So real quickly, if I say your name, it's a heartfelt thanks. It doesn't work without everybody working together. So Jessica Boyer, Dustin Keeker, John Boyd Sr., Jenna Boyd, Nikki Reed, Anna Probst, Thomas Engelman, Aaron Stoll, Kenny Rapp, Candace Bird, Jeff Nix, Al Engelman, Madison Rainey. Thank you a lot. Special thanks to the coaches that I work with. Coach Boyd said it very well up here. We work great as a staff. We all kind of have our little niche, but yet we all come together and work closely and communicate in the best interest of the kids every day. So from the bottom of my heart, Tyne, Chris, and John, it's a pleasure to work with you guys. Jason Viox, it's also a pleasure to work with you at the Herald. You make it so easy, and you do such a good job. We love seeing all those pictures of our kids in the paper. Mid-America Rehab, we have something going on with a kid, and it's above our head as coaches. We can make a phone call, and you guys are taking care of them, so thank you. The SGHS administration, SGHS sports boosters, a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Appreciate all your support and your help. Special thanks to all you parents. We do ask and maybe demand sometimes a lot of little extra things in track, and it's all to try and get your kids to, be a little bit more. So I appreciate all your support there. I do have just one short story. So a lot of people might know what this is about out there, and this is something that's I've waited like 5.5 years to do this. So this has been like, really brewing. So I don't want this to go on too long though, but it starts with Nathaniel. So Nathaniel, come up here, big fella. You gonna stay right there? Okay. So it starts with Nathaniel, and there's a lot of stories, a lot of betting that goes on to in this team. I mean, I owe Reinhardt a trip to Red Lobster. Gabe gets to tie me to a pole and some other things. So there's some crazy bets that go on. Well, there was a bet that happened 5.5 years ago when Nathaniel was an 8th grader. He was an up-and-coming cross-country kid, and he was really just learning the game in cross-country. But it was really cool to see a kid buy into our program, and I mean completely buy in. And it was real apparent for him at about halfway through the season on what it was going to take and what he was going to have to do. And as a coach, I was all about trying to encourage that and motivate that and so on and so forth. So I had daughters on the cross-country team at the time, so I was hoping I didn't really, stick too big a knife in my back, but I told him that if he would medal at Potosi middle school meet back when he was in 8th grade, that he could choose a girl in the cross-country room, and when we come back from that meet, they were going to have to give him a kiss. His choice. Am I lying? I'm not lying about any of this. I'm not making any of this up. I got witnesses. Max, you were on the team. True story, right? Okay, so we all kind of, he did it. He medaled that day. He made me cry. That was the thing he was most proud about. So it was really a cool day. So then when we come back, I was scared he's going to choose either like Shelby or Taylor or one of my daughters. And like, it was going to get ugly maybe, but he didn't. He chose another girl on the team. She was a manager at the time. And then I started thinking, well, I get in a lot of trouble here, Jeff. So we made him close his eyes, and Jessica stepped up, and Jessica really didn't give you a kiss, Nathaniel, you know that. Who do you think it was? Thank you.
I don't even know what to say. We'll just move on. Last and definitely not least is our baseball program, and I think the two fellas, as they pointed out in purple, will do the talking. So I'm guessing that Cody's going to go first. So Cody will go first, and then I'll turn it over, or he'll go straight to Coach McDaniel, and then we'll wrap things up. So Coach Schwint, you're up.
I don't really know how to follow that, but I'll do my best. I had some stuff written down, but seeing the seniors walk through here, I'm gonna miss those kids from the other sports. So there's a lot of really good seniors I'm gonna miss, and I wish all you guys the best of luck. So first off, I'm going to do some thank yous just like everybody else. I'm probably going to repeat a lot of stuff, but I'd first like to thank my wife and daughter for letting me spend so much time with these young men this year. Since I'm also talking on behalf of Coach Gibson, I'm sure he'd like to say you are welcome to his wife for being gone so much this year. In all seriousness, as many of you know, baseball season takes a lot of time and commitment, and we are all very thankful for the families that we have that give us the time to do this. I would also like to thank the parents. I think I say this every year, but it's crazy to go to an away game with a busload of boys, and when you ride back, most of the time I'm riding the bus back, and it's like 2 kids riding back. And that it's awesome to have that many parents come and show their support. Troy, I love the long bus talks. I do love chatting it up with the kids who do ride back with me, but it's cool. I don't think there's any other school who really supports their kids like our parents do. Lost my spot. Troy, you messed me up. I'd also like to thank my fellow coaches. This was some of the most fun I've had being on a coaching staff day in and day out. Brock brought up a good point when we were talking over here. There are so many inside jokes this year, I can't even begin, or I don't even want you to even hear some of them. But man, it was a long list. I just felt like we were one cohesive group this year, working towards the same goals all the time. I think sometimes people may think decisions are just made by the head coach, but 2 days ago I sifted through my emails from the past 3 months and added them all up, and I'm good at adding. So believe me when I say this, there were approximately 1,130 emails sent back and forth from us 4 people. So if you're ever thinking one decision or the others made by one person, that was definitely not the case. Every decision was made by all of us, and I really appreciate Mike hearing us out on everything. It was awesome to see him just kind of take it all in and use some of it and not use some of it, but either way, I felt like we were all heard. Last, I'd like to thank you boys for a wonderful season. I'm sure most of you have heard now that this is going to be my last season for some time, because like I said, baseball season is a lot to take on, and Katie and I have another baby coming in November. So I was always taught to spend time with family while you can. Another reason is that I know how I would take it being there when Gibson's saying goodbye. So I'm glad I'm going to be gone before that. You guys have seen me cry enough. All right, now I'm going to call up the boys and talk about their season a bit. Can I borrow that? Shoot, I left mine over there. This is going to be quick, so you don't have to run, but hurry up. Devin Bader, Brady Boyer, and a lot of these guys split time with varsity, but I included anybody who played at all for us, especially our aces, Grant Staffen. Keaton Boyer, Alex DeRouche, Chad Dunsey, Logan Sauce Gegg, Troy Johnson, Jesse Kemper, Kyle Kiefer, Nolan Klump, Chase Kohler, Clayton Kreitler, Peyton Powell, Camden Rowe, Brian Selby, Ace Staffen, Sam Stolzer, and did I miss anybody? All right. This is my first undefeated team. Really proud of that. Now we played roughly about 8 games less than we usually do. We got gypped out of a couple tournaments because of rain or whatever it might be. Some games got canceled because of the pitching restrictions. You need to use a lot of arms. So, but regardless, when a JV squad goes undefeated, that's pretty special because so many different people are getting pulled up to varsity. You have a different lineup. You're always adjusting things. There was another team that went 17-2, but those 2 losses came within their first 12 games, so we still beat that squad anyway. We went 11-0-1. It should have been 12-0, but JV games are only supposed to last 7 innings. At least that's what we were told by somebody. That was the umpire. These boys battled every night. For those of you who have watched JV games through the years, you know how easy it is for everything to fall apart in just an inning. These guys didn't let that happen. If they did get behind, there was not one person in the dugout who ever believed that we were not going to come back and win the ball game. Out of the 12 games we played, I would say we only had 1 sloppy ball game against Farmington, but like I said, we overcame that and still won. My favorite game came against Festus, where I believe we were down by 6, I think. It was 8? Well, the final score was 8-7, boys, so I don't think we were down by 8. Here come the fishing stories. I think we were down 7-1 and came back and won 8-7 in the last inning. Anyway, we won the ball game. It was even more special because Festus wasn't very happy walking through the line, and it always feels good to make them angry. This group just did it all for the team. Never complained about where they batted or where they played. If they had to bunt, they were happy to do it. It didn't matter if they hit 1 over the wall, like Logan, or got a triple that went about 5 feet. DeRoos. They were on base or helping the team, and that's all that mattered. Don't lose that attitude. Never lose that attitude, because attitude is almost everything in baseball. Baseball can be stressful, and it's easy to put the pressure all on yourself, but these next few years, just remember that everything you do is for the team and nothing else. You can't win a ball game by yourself, unless you're Adam Wainwright. So you may as well not even try to do it yourself. Do it all for the team. Just keep doing it for the team. Nothing else matters. I'll come and see you next year. My door is always open for advice. If you guys twist my arm hard enough, I might still wake up early for you and throw some morning sessions. But that's it. Good job, guys.
All right, have quite a few people to thank, so I'll try to be quick with this. First of all, Coach Nix for everything he does. Spring is a very stressful time. I mean, 3 outdoor sports, and there's a lot to worry about, especially with the weather and everything. Luckily for us, the turf really helps make his job a lot easier in regards to baseball. We were able to get 29 games in this year, which is the most that I can remember we've gotten in a while. Nancy Toombs, Jason Bowman, Brandon Crump for all the stuff they do with technology out at the field. Some of the things they've done has been absolutely amazing. Our next, hopefully, venture is to get one of those big scoreboards out there like the football field has. That would be just icing on top of the cake. Rob Coleman, Josh Banks, Dennis Kreitler, Russ Toombs, Dennis Drum, Adam Sherry, Clayton Gegg for either announcing the lineups over the PA system during the games or broadcasting the games live for others to hear. This really is an awesome thing, guys. I mean, for us to be able to have people watch and listen to games and not be able to be at the ballpark, that's a pretty sweet deal. They literally have the major local radio stations practically salivating at the technology and the capabilities that we have here at St. Genevieve, and for that we're definitely thankful. Jason Viox, for all the hard work he puts into covering our games. I mean, he's one guy covering multiple sports for 2 schools. The guy does an absolutely outstanding job. Greg and Sean at KTJJ, Greg and Mike at KFMO for their radio coverage during the season. Jess Hess for helping our guys heal from their injuries. I think some of those guys, I don't know if they truly have an injury or if they just want to go bug, Coach Hess. I mean, I don't know. The way they talk to her and everything, I think they have a pretty good relationship. All the parents that have supported their sons all season, and also those that have helped out in the concession stand. And thank you to Gary and Andrea Stolzer for donating a popcorn machine for us to use this year. Showing my parents how to make kettle corn was a pretty big deal for them, and I think the fans really enjoyed that quite a bit too. Carrie Staff and Alyssa Schwint for preparing breakfast for the boys in the library. It gives them an opportunity to get up early, get a little BP in, go to the library, get some food in their stomach, and play a little maybe Just Dance or something like that in the library. Some of them, you should see their moves. Pretty sick, and I don't mean sick in a good way. My parents for everything that they do to help the program, from all they do at the concession stand to staying up for hours and cleaning out dugouts, and not just supporting myself, but all the boys on the team. There's not a moment that goes by where at least one of them isn't at the game. And it's really funny because my mom and dad just got an iPhone. It was a gift from myself and my sister. We figured they needed an upgrade in their technology and everything. And Dad really can't figure out how to send an email on it. That was a 20-minute process the day before yesterday. And he had his first dose of autocorrect on text messages the other day, which was pretty funny. All of you guys have been a part of that, especially your first time using it. But the weird thing about it is he can figure out how to listen to one of our games live whenever he's in Houston, Texas, visiting my sister. So it's weird how that works. But anyway, I wouldn't be able to do all of this without their love and support, and it's sincerely appreciated. My fiance Rachel up here. We have most of the wedding planning done, but there are a few things that need to be taken care of, and with her being involved with golf, it seems as though we're passing ships quite often. She inspires me to be a better person, and I appreciate the love and support that she gives me, especially during this busy spring season. And last, but definitely not least, my coaches. Coach Gibson, Coach Schwint, and our newbie, Coach Kreitler down there, who volunteers his time, and I can't say enough about the work ethic and information and knowledge and everything that he brings to the table for our boys. It's been a great thing. It's really actually weird because I didn't talk to Coach Schwinn at all about what he was going to say about anything like that, and we have almost the exact same thing down here when it's talking about the coaches. We truly are a team when it comes to coaching. Most of the time, all the responsibility of wins, losses, tough decisions that have to be made, no matter what they are, they fall on the head coach's shoulders. And I don't mind falling on that grenade because that's what I signed up for. Many of the other sports are very cut and dry whenever it comes to different things. Golf, whoever shoots, the lowest score gets the top spot, all right, in their grouping. Track, whoever posts the best time or throws the furthest distance, they get that spot. Baseball is a little bit different. Our job is really to assess who we think fits best in a spot and then try to put them in a position to be successful. And when it comes to major decisions needing to be made, it's a consensus amongst all of us. Some decisions are hard to make, but I trust these three guys more than anyone else, not only with what's best to try and win games, but more importantly, what's best for us to help develop good character and responsible young men. These are three of the best guys you'll ever meet, And unfortunately for us, like Coach Schwinn said earlier, this is his last season with us. He'll definitely be missed, but I wish he and his wife, the best of luck with everything, being pregnant with their second child. Well, she's pregnant with their second child, not him, sorry. But I mean, he's definitely always a part of the program and always will be. So I hope he never feels like he should ever be outside the dugout. He's always welcome inside. Now let's get to our season. Overall, we had a very successful year with 17-12 on the year. However, I'm sure a lot of our guys would probably look at our record and thoroughly believe it could have been much better than it was. We played some great baseball right out of the gate in the open day tournament, finishing second overall to Perryville. In our first 3 games, we scored a total of 24 runs, including 2 games where we 10-run the other team in 5 innings. Things were definitely on the up and up for us. But after those 3 games, it took us 8 games after that to match that run total again. One thing became evident during those 11 games, we got great pitching, outstanding defense, but mediocre hitting. During myself and Coach Gibson's 13-year tenure, we've had a team batting average under 300 only 3 times. Unfortunately, 2 of those have been the last, 2 years here. Out of our 29 total games this year, 13 were decided by 2 runs or less, in which we had 6 wins and 7 losses during those games. So overall, out of our 12 total losses, 7 of those were by 2 runs or less, and 4 of those 7 were by 1 run. Even though we struggled at the plate this year, wow, these guys were fun to watch in the field. And if you ever came into the gymnasium when we had an indoor practice and you infielders were on the floor, you may have sweated and not liked it at that time, but man, you couldn't help but get excited watching these guys practice. And we were out on the field, oh man, I mean, hard plays looked routine. They looked boring to these guys because they were making these things, look easy. Our total team earned run average was 2.34, so we allowed less than 3 runs a game. Our pitchers gave us a chance to win every game they stepped foot on the mound. I think the only thing that our pitchers, or what gave them the most confidence, Darren. Gave them the most confidence is that they knew they didn't have to strike everybody out. They knew that they could pitch to contact and the guys behind them were going to make the play. And not many balls dropped in the outfield because of their speed and dependability. And I don't have the stat right offhand, but I know we turned more double plays this year than we have in any other year in the past. Heck, we had 2 situations this year where we almost turned triple plays. It was a pretty phenomenal thing to watch. They truly were a fun group. We finished our conference schedule tied for second in the MAAA large school division, earning the 4th seed in the conference tournament. We won our first 2 games of the tournament and played Potosi for the 2nd time. The first game with them was a 2-1 pitchers duel. Unfortunately, the second one was 2, ending up with the same score of a 2-1 10-inning loss. It was a heartbreaker during the conference tournament semifinals. But these guys didn't let that loss deter them from coming out ready to play the next day, defeating Park Hills for a 3rd place finish. And all of us had pretty high hopes for a good run in the district tournament, and things started off pretty well with a 3-0 win over DeSoto in the first round. The victory put us back up against Potosi for the 3rd time, and we thought to ourselves, never 3. It's not going to happen that 3rd time. Unfortunately for us, Potosi was riding a pretty high streak, and they were red hot that last week. Ended up beating us by a score that I won't mention, played for the district championship in a pretty thriller against Festus, and Festus ended up winning that ball game. All in all, though, it was a good season filled with guys who made some big strides and showed a lot of potential for the future. At this time, I'd like to bring the players up. If you could hold your applause until the end, it'd be appreciated. First, let me get to my managers, though. Darren Brown, Morgan Doza, Taylor Matthews, and Brooke Weiler. These ladies did a tremendous job, and they had a lot more responsibility this year than what they have in the years past with the new institution, or with them implementing these new pitching restrictions. We had to keep track of every single pitch that was thrown by our pitchers and everything, and so I put that load on their shoulders, and they took it and they ran with it. When you have girls that are as astute as what they are, it makes your job as a manager much easier. And one of the other things that's pretty cool too is seeing some of them grow over the last few years. Before, whenever you went through a scorebook, you might might have to look through and figure out what this was and what that was. I think now they finally know what a fielder's choice is, and how that's marked in a book. They also know what a sacrifice fly is, because some of these guys can get pretty upset whenever you mark it as a regular fly ball. Well, that counts against your average. But when you hit a sacrifice fly, they get an RBI, and it doesn't count against their average. So that can mean the difference between being a 300 or not 300 or 400 or not 400 hitter. And these guys definitely keep track no matter what they say. But like I said, these ladies had to put up, probably with the biggest thing they had to do is put up with the rest of us. And that's definitely a commendable action right there. But they do a great job, and can't thank them enough for everything that they do. Our first player, Logan Geck, sauce. We don't have many total freshmen in the program, but Logan was one that was a definite surprise. You don't meet many people with the charisma. He definitely has a lot of charisma. Real ladies' man. And love for the game like Logan has. He's a super kid that has a lot of potential to do some great things in baseball. Even though it was on JV, I'm sure Sauce would love to tell you about the home run he hit this year. I think it's still in orbit somewhere around Earth. I'm not sure. Next, our sophomores. First, Devin Bader. Brady Boyer. I know Brady didn't have the offensive season he wanted this year, but that's okay. There's a boatload of talent in his body, and I'm not sure I know anyone else who loves to show off their cannon in the outfield more than what Brady does. He may not have gotten it done at the plate, but his ability to track balls down at the outfield made him a very valuable person in the team. Brady had some good moments on the mound in JV this year, which is awesome, and I think with some more hard work, he can be another guy that will help us out with pitching next year. Next, Chad Dunsey. Chad did an outstanding job on the mound for us this year, eating up a lot of quality innings and coming into some tight ball games to close them out. With the new pitching restrictions instituted this year, we needed someone like Chad to shine, and he did. Now, at the beginning of the year against Jackson, he entered the game late, and one of their batters got a hit, driving in a run and ending the game in extra innings. There were some tears shed. It's okay. It happens. But I made a point to reiterate to him that he was the man. There will be another opportunity, and you're going to move past this, man. And move past it, he did. He posted a 3-1 record on the year, was 3 for 3 in save opportunities, and had a 2.22 ERA for the season. Those tears turned into a very confident young man on the mound, and someone the rest of his teammates relied upon pretty heavily throughout the season. Next, Chase Kohler. Boy, this kid turned out to be a pleasant surprise. We never see him at open gyms in the offseason or during the season. Something that we'll have to work on, but boy, he turned it on. You always look for opportunities, and when you get those opportunities, you want to make the most of them. Chase looked at his opportunity, smacked it in the face a little bit, and he said, "You're mine." We were playing a doubleheader down in Perryville on a Saturday, and he's playing left field. And it looks like this hitter hits a definite extra base hit down the left field line. And Chase was playing the gap a little bit there, so it was a pretty long run. Thought that definitely he's not going to get to this. Out of nowhere comes Chase, lays out horizontally on a full sprint, catches the ball, and I've never seen so many grown men scream like little schoolgirls, all right, after he catches a ball like this. And forget the fact that we got out of the inning. Everybody, I think, in the dugout ran out practically all the way to left field to, congratulate him on a great catch like that. And everybody after that moment, Chase was there to stay. From that moment on, it was hard to take him out of the lineup, especially when he started hitting the ball and stealing bases. He has a lot of potential to do some good things in baseball, and I hope he gets serious about this whole off-season thing, because it'd be pretty scary to see what he can do with a little more preparation. Next, Derek Morgenthaler. Derek is one of those kids you love to coach. What do you want me to do, Coach? I'll do it. He works hard, plays hard, but you never know it because he's probably one of the most even-keel and quiet guys you'll ever meet, unless maybe he talks to you guys off the field. When we moved Wyatt to the number 3 spot in the lineup last season, we moved Derek, a freshman at the time, to the leadoff spot. He's taken the reins, and he's never looked back. He had a stellar season on the mound, leading us in wins with 6 and posting a stupidly low ERA, which I'll get to later on. He also had another solid year at the plate, batting just under 400. He has a pretty high baseball ceiling, and with some more hard work, next 2 years should be pretty fun and see how he grows. Next, sophomore, Peyton Powell. Grant Staffen. What'd you call him, the ace? Best defensive second baseman in the conference and our district. This guy is fun to watch in the field. He made one play late this season in the hole between first and second base where he had to do some sort of spin move and it turned into some sort of pirouette or something. I don't know what it was, but I think the Russian judge actually gave him a good score for it. And if you ask Grant, his hitting wasn't where he wanted it to be. But even though he wasn't driving in runs on offense, he was helping save runs on defense. I'm telling you, the best hands in our area and one part of a double play duo, that was fantastic. If Grant will continue to work on his defense and get in the cage in the offseason to work on his hitting, he'll be scary good. And even though I'm praising him for his defense, I know what he really wants me to tell you guys. He wants me to tell you how great he is at pitching. Now, I know if you look at him, it's pretty intimidating. Look at that face. And if you look at the stats, he'll even tell you he's got the lowest ERA in the team, because he does. It's 0. But what he'll fail to mention is he only pitched 1 inning. But in that 1 inning, he did strike a guy out, and he had more confidence than anybody else on that field. Because trust me, if there's anybody that has confidence on the mound, it's Grant Staffen. He developed into a pretty good JV pitcher for us this year, and I really think he's got a goal to be a varsity pitcher next year. And if he keeps it up, he might just get what he wishes for. All right, keep working, Grant. We'll see you there, man. Next sophomore, the last one, Sam Stolzer. Wow, can this guy run or what? With Sam on the base paths, you have an offensive weapon at your disposal. He may not have experienced time at the plate or in the field on defense, but Sam helped us out in other ways with his legs. The only thing we have to work on with Sam is making sure he doesn't slide feet first with his feet in the air. He cleated a guy late in the year at third base sliding in, and the guy was pretty ticked off because, he sees this guy going full force. Sam doesn't show much emotion out there or anything, and he cleats the guy, and he's pretty ticked off about it. But if you know Sam, you definitely know it couldn't be further from the truth. He's an absolutely wonderful kid, and another one of those you absolutely love to coach because of his work ethic, attitude, and love for the game. He keeps working on his pitching. We'll need another arm next year, and he's got a good one. Our juniors, Troy Johnson. Troy was a great addition this year. He's an absolutely fantastic kid that you love to coach because whatever it is in the best interest of the team, he's there to support it. He's always asking questions and wanting to learn. Troy saw limited time on the varsity level this year and did a nice job on JV. And you'll have to ask Coach Schwinn about testing his arm during practice. No matter how many times a ball went to right field where Troy was, whether it's on the ground or in the air, Coach Schwinn decided to try and send a guy from second to third. And I think Troy is 100% successful in throwing out every person, going to third base. Finally, Coach, I think, had to realize, I got to stop running on Troy. He's got a cannon out there. Next junior, Camden Rowe. Canada was another one of our runners this season, spending most of his time as a courtesy runner and having a few spot starts in the outfield. He's another kid that loves the game of baseball and has been blessed with a lot of speed that can make things happen on the base paths. He mainly played JV this season, but if we can get his bat going a little bit more, he'll definitely be able to help us a lot more next year on that varsity level whenever we need him. Our next junior, Brian Selby. Now, this guy probably still has bruises somewhere on his body from all the punishment he takes day in and day out behind the plate. Now, I like to refer to the catcher's gear as the tools of ignorance, because quite frankly, you have to have a little something different or wrong about you upstairs to stay in front of the ball hitting off the ground 80 miles an hour or more. Well, if you've met Brian, you know his sense of humor. You know he fits that profile for wearing the tools of ignorance quite well. I don't mean that as a diss or a slam. I'm just saying his sense of humor is pretty unique. He was the second of our hat today, I think. He didn't wear it up there. Anyway, if you've, Brian does a great job of calling games for our pitchers. He sells out on every play to make sure a ball in the dirt doesn't get past him, and he hustles his rear end off, backing up throws to first base with all his gear on, and running down the baseline. Once again, with some of the off-season workouts to strengthen up his body and his arm, he'll be a solid piece up the middle for us next season. And we got to figure out the next coach's job, because Coach Schwinn did a good job of timing you between home and first with your gear on. So we'll get the next guy on that. Our last junior, Drew Toombs. Wow, this is another guy who loves to compete. There's no one on the team who probably wants to succeed more than Drew. And sometimes that passion that he displays can be his biggest detriment. Drew has grown a lot over the last 3 years, both physically and mentally. He and Derek shared a bulk of our biggest games this year, and much like Derek, Drew definitely didn't disappoint. Drew, unfortunately, was on the wrong end of many of those one-run losses mentioned earlier. However, if you could harness the passion and the love that he has for the game Drew displays each and every day, you'd be wealthy beyond your wildest dreams. The progress he's made since his freshman year makes me excited for what he'll bring to the table next year as a senior. Speaking of seniors, now our seniors, Dalton Giesler. This guy's had one heck of a career, starting nearly every game in some capacity since his freshman year. He's had his ups and downs, but I can honestly say through it all, Dalton always does it with a smile on his face. Maybe not at the moment, but he's quick to shake it off. Unexpectedly, he spent this season in the outfield all year due to Wyatt's injury. And now Wyatt's pretty fast, but I got to tell you, Dalton covered a lot of ground and made balls look pretty boring. All right, I guarantee you, once that knee's healthy, Dalton may want to race you, Wyatt. Now, his offensive numbers weren't exactly what he wanted, but instead of tucking his tail and giving up on his senior year, he took extra cuts before school and after practice to try and work through it. If anything, I think Dalton's attitude to persevere through tough times is a legacy that he leaves behind to the rest of these guys. And I'll tell you what, being a great guy that fights through tough times, oh, and not to mention that he's a pretty darn good baseball player, is a pretty good way to go out. Dalton Giesler. Our next senior is Brandon Henson. This is the other part of the double play combo that I was talking about earlier. The combo of Henson and Staff in the middle. No, it's not a country band or anything either. In the middle of the field was one of that few people get to experience in their coaching career. Brandon has always had the athleticism, but his strength and knowledge for the game just had to catch up a little bit. And from the time that he was a freshman until now, he has improved the most of anyone on the defensive side of things. While his offensive stats don't reflect maybe what people might call the total body of work that coaches might look for, he was most undoubtedly the best defensive shortstop in our conference and district. His defensive prowess helped anchor a strong infield unit, and his abilities will be hard to fill next season. Our next senior, he's not here tonight, he's in Panama City, is Daniel Vaith. Now, unfortunately, the way the conference works is they don't release any of the all-conference teams until after all the conference teams has finished their season. And this is one guy, I don't usually talk about guys when they're not here, but Daniel is one of those that's probably improved the most from his freshman year to his senior year with overall just ability and everything. And because of all the hard work he put into it, he was actually named All-Conference Honorable Mention this past year, which is a great testament to everything that he's done. Next senior, Waylon Kemper. Now, Waylon's one of these guys you want to coach. He comes out every day, works hard, does what's best for the team. Now, I don't know what Waylon would like me to say about him. Would he like me to talk about the way he robbed guys that hits, his lightning fast reactions at third base right there? Would he like me to, maybe talk about how good he was at our semicircle ground ball game in practice, all right, which he was pretty darn good at that. No, I think I know what it is that he'd really like me to talk about. I think it's the ongoing battle for respect and sibling rivalry that he has with his brothers. I always get to hear the trash talking between them and everything they say, but I never knew that it could earn one of them any kind of money. So we were playing a really big game against Potosi, and we're down 1-0. Waylon comes up and hits a shot to right field, and the wind's blowing out about 100 miles an hour, all right? But he'll tell you it was a slight breeze. It was going to go out anyway, don't worry, Waylon. And it goes over the fence for a home run. He is pumped. I mean, pumped about this. He's running around the bases. Heck, I thought, because he tied the game up, that's why he was fist pumping. He had a smile, that covered his entire face and everything. And I was just like, man, he is seriously excited about this home run and everything. His teammates are going wild. The crowd's going crazy and everything. And Waylon, like I said, has that big smile on his face. And he starts to round third base there. And he goes, yeah, Jake owes me $50 for that home run. okay. I mean, we like to talk about the team, but I mean, woohoo, you made $50 too. And I guarantee Potosi is over there looking at him like, what in the world is wrong with this kid? You know? But, you know, his older brother made good because I think the next day he paid his debt to him, and Waylon was $50 richer for that home run that he hit. You know, what a great moment and what a great kid. Our next one is Wyatt Lalamadeer. This is definitely not what anyone wanted for such a good kid during his senior season. Wyatt worked hard to come back from a partially torn ACL before football season in order to be ready for baseball. And I can tell you this, he was primed to have a monster season too. The ball was flying off his bat in open gym, and his bullpen sessions looked great. But a base running drill on the second day of practice changed all that and put him on the disabled list for the entire year. But instead of harping up here on Wyatt's injury, I think it's better to celebrate the great career that he did have, starting nearly every game since day one of his freshman year. He came onto the scene, making his presence felt, and kept it there for his entire career. I remember the kid who took the extra base and legged out doubles and triples and made diving catches look routine in the outfield. Wyatt's a great kid and a great teammate to everyone else this season. It'll be hard not seeing this kid in the dugout or in the outfield next year. And actually, it'll be hard not seeing all of these seniors back next season. So thank you for everything you've given us, seniors. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your 2017 Dragons baseball team. Now, to finish up, you'll notice we're losing 5 great guys, but we have an abundance of youth that will be coming back. Anyone that can watch these guys play sees the potential that they possess. I want to remind them that how fast high school goes by. You ask any senior that's in here tonight, and they'll say their freshman year felt like it was yesterday. You only have a small window to maximize the opportunities in front of you. Take advantage of them and push each other to the limits, not leaving anything to chance. Your success tomorrow hinges on the preparation that you put forth today. I extend my best wishes to you guys and your summer teams this year and can't wait for next school season. Now it's time to give our awards. Our first award goes to our top RBI man. This year, it was that guy that had the big old smile on his face and is $50 richer because of it, Waylon Kemper, 21 RBIs in the season. Our next award goes to the person with the top average. Even though his average is a little bit down this year, I'll take it. He went from 400 last year to batting 395 this year. That's Derek Morgenthaler. Our next award that kind of, I think, embodies somebody that definitely has team first, thinks about their health and anything else second, and he wears the tools of ignorance. Dirty uniform winner is Brian Selby. Now, our next award is for outstanding pitcher, and I can tell you right now, there's no way on earth we were just going to give it to one person this year. Whenever you look at both of these guys and, you know, the resume that they built this year with their stats, I mean, both pitched over, 54 innings each, and both of them had an ERA that was either 1.5 or lower. That's a pretty phenomenal stat right there. Both of these guys also were able to earn all-conference honors. They were both first team all-conference. Those two guys are Drew Toombs and Derek Morgenthaler. And our last award this evening goes to our MVP. And I think when you look at a complete body of work, you have to look at, everything that somebody has done, whether that's just hitting or just pitching, or if they do both, you look at both of those things. And this particular person we looked at, and it was pretty clear cut whenever all the coaches sit here and we vote on this stuff. And this person was also recognized just the other day for being a KTJJ Dream Team athlete. Our MVP this year is Derek Morgenthaler. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you, baseball players and golfers and track athletes. It was a pleasure watching you guys and keeping up with you guys and seeing how you were doing as teams and individuals this year. Oh. Coach Schwint. All right. Before we do the 50-50 winner and the banner winners, just a couple of real quick final thank yous that I have. Thank you to Dr. Fleeg and Dr. Lindsay up in district office. They've been extremely supportive. My 8 years as athletic director, I know I'm not the easiest person to work with sometimes, but they always support me and give me good guidance. They're great to work for. And our technology department, as Coach McDaniel was mentioning before, we have a tremendous technology department, not only with our curriculum and our academics, but also with our extracurricular stuff. I mean, you guys look around at all the stuff we have at the fields and at the gym, at the broadcasts that we do. There's no way I'm doing that on my own. I can tell you that right now. They're doing some spectacular things for our sports programs, and our technology department is, in my opinion, the best in the area. So they do a great job. Award winners. If you won an award tonight from your coach, or if you were all conference, all district, or all state, stick around, and Jason Viox is going to take your pictures out in the commons out here, okay? So I guess we'll have you guys over here to the right in front of the trophy case. So again, if you were an award winner tonight, or if you had any postseason accomplishments like all conference, all district, and so on. Okay. Without any further ado, the winner of the 50-50 and $25, please bring your ticket up with you. Try not to spend your $25 all in one place. 974-627. 974-627. If you were the winner, bring your ticket with you here in just a minute, and I'll give you your 25 squids. The boys track banner. Okay, first of all, if you notice, there was only one track banner out in the commons area. I asked Sheila at Trotter Photo to donate an additional banner so that we could raffle off one boys track athlete and one girls track athlete rather than just one total banner. And she agreed without any argument at all. So we've got another banner on order, and it should be in within the next week or two. So girls are more important than boys. So the winner of the boys banner is I'm going to have to keep this piece of paper and give you a call in about a week or two to come pick up your banner, okay? Winner of the boys track banner is Thomas Engelman. The winner of the girls track banner, and you can just grab it and take it with you tonight, if you're the winner, Madison Reynolds. Boys golf. You got a 33% chance, fellas. Tom Muir. And finally, the baseball banner. Again, you can grab this on your way out. Grant Staffen. Congratulations to those banner winners. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night and a great summer.